saying today is World Mental Health Day 2020, and this year's theme is Move for Mental Health, Increased Investment in Mental Health. So today what we're going to be talking about is mental health. Jackie.
Okay. I mean,
let's talk about black men and mental health.
you will let me speak.
You were thinking too long.
I was. That is what was gonna come out of my mouth, but I was trying to get my thoughts together. So we're gonna edit that out and act like I brought it up first.
Shit. Oh, just go.
So when I think about mental health, I think about the fact that I don't think a lot of black, African American, whatever you want to say, males, men, or whatever, take mental health seriously. And let me not say they don't take it seriously. I think they are offended, or they'll feel inferior to reveal that the fact that they have, I guess, mental health issues, that they're battling things on the inside. And a lot of males do not like to seek help as far as therapy or counseling or anything that helps you cope with mental illness or keep a solid mental health state. I just feel like that's a very common thing, especially in our generation. I don't think a lot of people take mental health seriously, and we laugh about a lot of things. Like, before we think about it as being like, this person has a mental health issue or they need to be seen for anything mental health related, we laugh about it or we make a joke when we shouldn't. So yeah.
From a woman's perspective, and after encountering men, the first thing a man would say when I mention like therapy or talking about their problems or opening up is, I'm a man. And that would really annoy me because, okay, he's a man, but he's still a human being. And it's annoying because I feel like it's society that have it as though men shouldn't seek mental health. Not mental health. Men shouldn't seek help to make sure that their mental is okay. Like, it's really annoying to me, but at the same time, I also understand why a lot of men feel that way, because there are people, and females especially, that when men open up to them or they're vulnerable with them, they use it against them, they call them soft, or they just laugh at them, and that's not right. And I feel like men should be more open to seeking help and should be more understanding that just because you seek help or you talk to somebody about your problems, they don't make you weak. They don't make you less of a man, because at the end of the day, you're human. We are human. And even women, it have some women that feel as though talking to somebody makes them weak. But really and truly, I feel like seeking help is actually strength and courage, because you have to face what bothers you. You have to face things that you suppress and things that you struggle with. And that takes strength to address certain things. The first step is admitting, being able to admit that you need help. But it's more than just admitting you need help. Because it have men that say, yeah, I need help, or I probably need to talk to a therapist or something, but me going to do it because I'm a man. And I feel like that don't make sense. Like, if you know you need to talk to somebody, then why not talk to somebody? And I mean, sometimes talking don't always change things, but when you release things, you really do feel better. And sometimes you just need like a little clarification of what you may be feeling or what you may be thinking. And I feel like we need to normalize men seeking the help that they feel they may need. Like, people seeking the help they feel they may need. Because it's a people thing. At the end of the day, we are humans.
Right.
Ain't nobody perfect. And therapists have therapists, and their therapists have therapists.
Absolutely.
Like, it's an ongoing thing. So I feel like we just need to normalize therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I actually supposed.
Sorry.
You would.
You want? I like she was when she said I think we should normalize therapy. I was supposed to say across the board, because we don't want to make it seem like it's a one-sided conversation, because it's not. Like, it happens on the female for women as well, but it's not as common in women because they are very in touch with their selves, so a lot more than men. So they could admit to they could become vulnerable to the fact that they need help and they seek the help quicker than males do. And I mean, I go to therapy. I mean, I recently started. It's nothing that hey guys, I'm going to therapy. No, that I mean, I just like it's not that it's something that I'm not comfortable with. I just don't feel like, you know, I gotta tell my friends like how I just said it open to y'all, and I'm going to go on Facebook and be like, oh guys, I started therapy today. It was so amazing. If everyone should go. If you want to know my therapist's name, so you can call and ask how it's no. But it's like I'm fine. I'm comfortable with going to therapy because therapy for me is to a lot of stuff has happened just in 2020 alone, just with COVID, and then I lost my best friend, all of that stuff. I wanted to go to therapy before all of this stuff happened, but I just had a lot going on and I really never put it at the top of my list or whatever. But I made sure I made it a priority now since all of this has happened. And for me is to, like Nichelle mentioned earlier, to like having a releasing stuff that's on your mind. It makes you feel a lot better, or it makes you feel relieved. And when I started since I started therapy, and I'm able to release like once a week. I mean, I haven't been there. I missed this week, but that's neither here nor there. When I'm able to release the stuff that's sitting on my mind, on my chest, and just weighing on me, I feel a lot better when I leave, because I could approach a lot more things from a different perspective, and I can actually be able to take on information from my friends without feeling like it's a burden on me, or without, like, sometimes when you're able to release, like, I get in my moods where I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to be by myself. I don't want to be on FaceTime, texting, phone calls. I just want to be in my own space, so I can ignore everybody. But after therapy, you feel just like you could take on anything. You could take on the world, because you released everything that was weighing on you, that was making you feel like it was coming on you to your therapy. And like Nichelle said, like, therapists, we have therapists, our therapists have therapists, our therapists have therapists, and it goes down the line. So I just feel like men need to step up to that plate a lot more, and a lot of men battle inner demons that they really need to go to therapy for, so they can realize that it's not that they're battling inner demons, and it's not what they probably think it is. And like, I just want to reiterate again the fact that we don't want to make this one-sided. It happens in females as well, but men, it's more prominent, so we have to speak on that more than we speak on the women's side.
I mean, I'm supposed to set up a therapy appointment session, whatever. I've been had the information for a while. I've been wanting to go to therapy for a while, but it was just not in my budget, and I didn't really have the time. I know that I have the resources available. I'm about to take advantage of it. I just been holding off. I don't even know why. But
I was about to say, you have insurance for your job, right?
Yeah, but I ain't doing it through my job.
Oh, because I was about to say, if your job offers an EAP, you could look into the EAP and see if you can use those and how it goes from there. And then
I already talked to people from my job. I just didn't actually finish setting it up, but I can do all of that. I can walk it out when I go to my first therapy session and see how it is. Because as a female, and I'm very open and transparent, but to a certain extent. Like, in terms of talking about my problems and emotions and stuff like that, I'm not open. I just rather not talk about those things. Like, people will come to me and tell me their stuff, and I could give some really good advice. Like, I could give great ass advice. And in that, I don't take my own advice, because sometimes I do just at my own pace or in my own way. But I'm not really a emotional, over the wall type person to talk about in-depth stuff. Like, I'll be open about anything, but emotions and problems, I'm gonna be like a clam. I ain't gonna open up. But I think going to therapy might help me with that. I don't know. I don't even know if it's something that I really want to be open about. But you can't be open with everybody either. You just gotta learn what works for you. Like, you could be open with yourself if therapy works for you with your therapist, and then just find other ways to handle how you handle your emotions and demons and battles and all of that outside of therapy and outside of other people, because at the end of the day, not everybody have your best interest at heart either. So yeah, working on that now. But yeah, man, we really need to normalize seeking help, even if it's not in the form of a therapist. Like, just find ways that you could handle stuff, because at the end of the day, you need to be here mentally in order to be here physically, because you have to be okay, and not just for other people but for yourself. And mental stuff, like, that plays a really huge role in your well-being. And stress, therapists might be helping with your stress levels, and let me tell you, stress to kill. Stress really like to kill. Stress has made me physically sick to the point where I had to go to the emergency room one time, and ever since then I've found different ways to cope with stress. And when I feel like I'm about to reach a breaking point, I just honestly cut everything off. Like, I just take a step back and just basically let God. Like, just say whatever. Like, if it ain't in your control, just say whatever. And therapy could help with stress coping mechanisms also, or you could just find your own. Like, you just have to find what's right for you. And this ain't really only about therapy. Like, it's all about just being aware of your mental status. Like, being open to finding different ways to figure stuff out. Figure out your coping mechanisms, coping skills. Like, I think that's the same thing, right? That's what the same thing.
Coping mechanisms, coping skills.
Yeah. Like, just not just for like battling demons or keeping stuff bottled up, but stress, like everyday life. Life is a lot. Especially 2020 has been a lot. Like, a lot been going on, and everybody needs somebody. And if you feel like you don't have nobody, therapist might be right for you. And if you feel like a therapist ain't right for you, at least give it a try, so you could know, like, okay, I give this a try and it didn't work. But that don't mean to go in there like, I'm only doing this so I can give it a try, and not actually try. Like, actually try. And if you don't feel comfortable, or you honestly feel it for you, then look at other options. But being aware of, your mental health status is important, and we need to normalize that, because a lot of the lost souls out there in the world today, especially this generation, and that's both genders. So,
I just wanted to mention two common misconceptions and bad responses to when somebody tells you that they're going to therapy. One is, why are you going to therapy for? Are you crazy? That annoys me. You don't have to be losing your mind to go and sit down and see a therapist. That really bothers me when if I reference therapy to somebody, or if I see or hear of someone referencing therapy to someone else, and most of the responses are, oh, you going crazy, or what are you going to a therapist for? One. Two, when you say that to a friend or somebody that's close to you and they respond, you can't talk to me. Yeah, I can talk to you, but I can't talk to you about everything. I want to be able to talk to somebody that I could literally say everything to, and they are licensed to give me a response. I can sit down and talk to you, and you can give me the responses. Right? You could sit down and give me responses, but one, I know for sure that your opinions are not going to be unbiased, because you know me, and you probably know the people that I'm talking about, and you are going to pick a side. I want to be able to sit down and talk to somebody that's licensed, they have a career, they went to school or training, they know what they're doing, and they give me a response coming from a logical standpoint and not a biased standpoint. And also, I just want to be able to release everything without feeling uncomfortable. So it's not that I can't talk to you, it's the fact that I just don't, you're not a therapist. You, my friend, or my cousin, or my parent, or my aunt, or my uncle, you're not a therapist. So people that are close to you need to understand that it's not the fact that I can't talk, they can't talk to you, whoever that you're responding to can't talk to you. It's just that they don't want to talk to you, or they prefer not to talk to you and go to somebody that's licensed in the area. So people stop asking people if they're crazy or if they can't talk to you. And then some of us just don't want to talk to people because people are toxic.
What is wrong with you? I mean, like I say, it ain't only about therapists, because not everybody can afford a therapist because therapy is expensive. I ain't even going to lie. It could be very expensive. So not everybody have the resources. And if you do have a trustworthy friend that is actually really good at listening and not really, like, you know they ain't toxic and you know they ain't judgmental or they ain't going to tell you what you want to hear, and they feel comfortable accepting your problems because basically that's what they're doing, then go ahead, like, talk to your friend. But not everybody has that friend either. Like, it's important to know whether or not somebody genuine in your life, and if you have somebody that you genuinely can talk to that they okay with it, go ahead. But also do be aware that they are also dealing with their own issues, and that's another thing. Like, that's also why I don't really like talk to people, because I know everybody have their own thing going on. But talking to somebody every once in a while is not really fully a burden, especially if you need somebody to talk to and you have that trustworthy person. Like, go ahead, especially if they welcome it and they open about it. Like, yeah, I don't mind at all. Go ahead, because some people really are strong enough to handle your problems and be there for you. And when I say handle your problems, I just mean like handle you unloading, which is needed. Everybody needs to unload at some point in time, and everybody to cope with things differently. So, like I said, whatever works for you. But the first step is being aware, and then the second step is actually doing things to help your awareness.
Right. So, to piggyback off of what the great Michelle said, everybody can afford therapy, and we're not saying that therapy is what everybody needs to go to, but I know that there are other ways that you can protect your mental health, or do things that you could keep it up and not fall into a sunken place or whatever you guys want to refer to it as. So I know meditation is a really good way to keep a good mental space. And I'm not saying you need to be who was that doing that thing? Tina Turner. I am not saying you need to be Tina Turner, Nami, Ringekyo, whatever she did in that movie. But I mean, you could just meditate in many different ways. You could sit on your bed and just be in your quiet space and just meditate. Think. You don't have to sit in a certain position. You just meditate. Meditating can be in many different shapes and forms. So you could do your Google is your best friend. Google ways to meditate. I wanted to share some tips as some essential steps to protect your mental health from Psychology Today.
I'll come in next.
From Psychology. So the first step is try therapy. We spoke about that for the last 20 minutes. So you guys know that therapy is, yeah. And then the next step is find community. I wouldn't use the find community tip, but they're saying that isolation can quickly erode mental health. Yes, which it can, but you want to find the right community. You want to find the right people to be around, not just any community. The third step is set boundaries. You can't say yes to everything and still have the time to make mental health a priority. And I have a problem with that to an extent. I can say no because I'm very mean at times, a lot of times. But like, you really have to set your boundaries, especially with your friends, because your friends, you have some friends that will drain your life away because you are so accessible to them. Everybody doesn't need to have access to you at all times, and that's why when I get FaceTime from people, I ignore them. When I get phone calls from people, I ignore them. When I get text messages, I ignore them. I'll answer you the next day. I will post on Facebook and ignore your FaceTime. I don't care.
Yep.
You want to say something?
No, I was going to say I finally learned how to do that. Being pregnant is what helped me learn to do that, because I was mean apparently when I was pregnant, but I think is what I needed, because I never used to say no. And I mean, sometimes I still don't say no, but I am better at saying no now. Like, I would ignore messages and be on Facebook posting all day, but it's not that I ignoring you necessarily. I might not be in the mood to talk. And energy transfer, like transferring your energy, is a real thing, and I don't like transferring my negative energy to people. So if I like in a mood, I gonna keep to myself and I gonna just chill until I out of that mood, because I know I don't want to unload my negative energy onto your positive energy. Now the both of us in a bad mood. So I can just like draw back, keep to myself. I might put my phone on D&D. D&D is a lifesaver. And just go on Facebook and share funny stuff, or just read a book, or just lay in bed and chill, or do something that get me moving and just ignore the outside world for a while till I gather my bearings and I'm ready to communicate again. It don't mean that like I'm mad at you, I ain't talking to you, or you do me something. It might just be that I'm in a bad mood and I don't want to transfer that to you. So,
sorry.
Oh, done.
Oh. Also too, when it comes to energy, yes, you don't want to transfer your negative energy if you're in a mood, but sometimes you're in a mood and you have a lot of positive energy and you don't want to pick up that phone or get into a conversation or an exchange and you picking up the negative energy that's coming from whatever person that called you. You don't want to release, like, you want to be able to conserve as much positive energy as possible. So you don't want to release any other energy and you don't want to pick up any other negative energy coming from the person that's draining you on the other end of the phone. So conserving energy, guys.
Drain is your keyword for the day.
Right. The fourth step is engage in mindful living. Mindful, like I mentioned before, mindfulness activities such as meditation, deep breathing, and yoga have all been linked to elevated brain chemistry and lower levels of cortisol.
Yeah, you are dog.
Cortisol.
Dog.
Break up with perfectionism. Research shows that perfectionism can quickly spiral into strivings that become unhealthy. I had to learn that after a while, because sometimes I just want everything to be I'm so nitpicky at times where it's just overbearing. And I really had to learn that some things are just not going to be perfect. They're going to come out really good and as close to perfect as they can, but they're not going to be perfect, and you have to stop being obsessed with that, because that's just how the world goes. And then the next step is to take daily break rituals. Carve out small chunks of time where you are focused on doing something that renews your mind, body, and soul. So, however you want to do that. You want to read something?
No, I wouldn't get my own. I was just trying to see how much you had.
Step 7, practice self-care.
Yeah.
Self-care, listen. And first of all, let me tell you something. Males, y'all need to stop having this. I know a lot of my male friends take part in this too, but it's a lot of males out there that feel like they shouldn't go and get a manicure, or they shouldn't go and get a pedicure. It's self-care. Because half of y'all don't have a mother or a girlfriend at home because y'all messing with all these little nasty girls. But we ain't gonna go there. You don't know how to cut your fingernails. You don't know how to cut your toenails. You be out here looking crazy in the street. Go to a nail parsing salon or whatever. Get a manicure. Get a manicure. Y'all don't get me upset. Get a manicure. Get a manicure or get a pedicure. Like, go out there and go to the mall. Go shop. Just do something that.
Self-care could be something as simple as hey, you want to say something? Okay. Self-care could be something as simple as reading a book or laying in bed.
Right.
Like, if that's what calms you, then do that. Oh my gosh, Madras.
Go take a run. Just do something that makes you active, dog.
Calm.
Or have a dog.
Yeah, get you a dog.
They annoying.
She won't be in everything.
And then the last 2, 8 is find your fun and funny. Humor is cited as a significant protective factor that contributes towards resilience. I find myself to be a very humorous person, so I can lift my friend's spirit. What is wrong with you, girl?
Jackie.
I can find myself to be a humorous person, so I tend to lift my friends' spirits. But when it comes to me, I can't be humorous to myself.
You can't. Sure.
Right.
Sure. I'd be dying at myself.
So I go and watch, scrolling on social media. Everybody on social media is funny because social media is a show and people play roles. So I can laugh at people all day on social media. Or I'll go on YouTube and people are always posting funny stuff. So I'll spend some time, like an hour or 2 on YouTube, just watching crazy stuff and laughing. So yeah.
I think humor to keep you young, laughter to keep you young, and as a child at heart too. Everything, I ain't gonna say everything funny to me and not to be serious. But I love to laugh. If there's one thing I'm gonna do is laugh, and I had to laugh at myself. I had to talk to myself too. I mean, I think that's a very key factor in great mental health. Also, talking to yourself, it don't make you crazy. Well, depending on what level you're talking to yourself, but it don't make you crazy to talk to yourself and laugh, because I mean, the realest person on your team is you. So you gotta confront with the realest person you know. But yeah, laughing will definitely help a lot. Like sometimes you just gotta laugh when something bad happens. Just laugh. It really will make you feel a lot better. Like, cause it don't make sense to just be mad and stressed out and all that. Just laugh it out and keep it trucking. Keep going.
Also too. Actually no, I didn't have an also two to give to that. I was actually going on to the last one. So number 9. This is a really good one, so I'm gonna read the whole thing. Avoid consumerism. The promise of retail therapy being cool or having status can lure us into spending money on stuff we don't need. Research shows that when we move away from the goods life to the good life, one that focuses on spending our time and money on lasting things like relationships and legacy, we will be more inclined to flourish and thrive. This is amazing. And I know I mentioned earlier in one of the other steps to go out shopping. That don't mean you go out shopping, like go out shopping for as far as self-care, not just unnecessarily spending money. Because when you unnecessarily spend money and then you need the money down the road, you're going crazy because you don't know what you can do. So don't be spending your money out there like, yeah, don't use spending money as a retail therapy. I mean, what am I saying? Don't use spending money as a coping mechanism. That's not healthy, guys. So those are the 9 steps that I got from psychology today.
You just say a lot of shit, right? That was a lot. If it worked for you, then it worked for you though. Simple coping skills could be something as simple as writing it out. If you don't like writing, type it out in your phone in your notes.
Journaling is a good thing.
That's the word. That helps. I've been seeing on like TikTok where to let things go, you could write it on like a plate and then you drop the plate and break it. Or those rooms, I forget what it's called.
Is a destruction room?
Yes, destruction rooms. Those might be helpful to you too.
Let your anger
out a little bit of frustration and anger.
Can we go to one of those?
We can. I want to go. I've been looking at them. I thought 15 minutes wasn't going to be enough time, but I know somebody who went
a long time.
and they say it was more than enough time. Like you just go in and break stuff. Don't break your own stuff now. But like writing it on a plate, breaking it, or writing it on a balloon. They say that ain't good for the balloon there, but people that release balloons every day. So write it on a balloon, like float away. You let it go. And simple, you could do yoga. You don't have to do the extreme advanced yoga, but yoga is actually really calming, and it also
good for the core.
Yeah, it's good for your core, it's good for your flexibility, like overall. It'll relieve pain in certain areas depending on what type of pain you have or which type you're doing. But just doing yoga could help. Just breathing, just taking a minute and saying, okay, plan your day out. That could help. Planning your day out and crossing stuff off of your list. That could help. Having a playlist for the days when you need like strength or motivation. It don't even have to be like, it don't necessarily have to be gospel, but it do have some gospel songs that help. And then it just have regular songs that's positive, like the meaning behind it positive. That could, listening to songs like that could help too. Or music that'll make you happy. Music is a really good coping mechanism. Finding an outlet, just watch movies. If watching a movie brings you peace, anything that brings you peace can be a coping mechanism. Like just set aside some time to do something that brings you peace. Taking a bath, sipping some wine, reading a good book. Like those simple little things. Going for a walk, a run, like Jackie say. Those little things. Even a drive. Sometimes going for a drive while listening to music is very calming, especially at night. But be safe out there, be careful. Just, it don't always have to be complex, and it don't always have to be like, it don't have to be extra. Just anything that brings you peace, do it. And positive speaking. If you have a negative thought, try turn it into a positive. We had a brief intermission. But positive speaking or take it. The mind is a powerful thing. Tongue is a powerful thing. All those stuff could help towards your mental health. Like just try to be as positive as you can be, even in negative situations. Try to find the positive thing, even if the only positive thing you feel at the moment is waking up. At least you woke up that day, because that means you could try again tomorrow. So just try to be positive and just try. Always remember that things could always be better, but they could also always be worse. And that's not to downgrade or downplay like what you're going through, but it always have somebody out there that have it worse than you, and sometimes those people, they see the positive in the situation. So try to just always see a positive. Like, you might feel like your war about to end and stuff like that, but you know. And suicide, if you ever have any thoughts of suicide, don't be afraid to call the numbers. I won't insert the number here because they know you have a number.
I think it's like 1-800-SUICIDE.
I have no idea, honestly. I don't know what the number is, but I gonna insult it. Hey, don't be afraid to call the hotline. Don't be afraid to be open about it, because you do matter. Even if you feel like you don't, like, you have at least one person that you matter to, even if you don't know it. So don't be afraid. Just be open, be aware, and I think the biggest thing is being strong to take that step. Find your strength. And that's my take on mental health day.
I only have one more thing to say, and that's to always protect your mental stability. Whatever you do, protect your mental stability.
Oh, now that you say that,
oh God,
calling out a book. I know you need that job and you need money, but if it's to protect your mental health,
use that PTO.
Even if you don't have PTO and you need to call out for one day, take that day, because work can be very overwhelming, especially if you have a lot going on. Sometimes you need to call out and just take that day, even if you can't afford to, especially like in terms of funds. Your mental health comes first, because you can't spend money anyways if you ain't writing your mental, like if you depressed in bed or if you dead or something. So, and that job, when you pass out and stuff, they don't hesitate to clock you out however time you pass out. If you die, they don't hesitate to no, for real, like this is stuff that people need to like realize. Your job don't hesitate to clock you out, and they don't hesitate to put your spot up for higher. So take care of you, because at the end of the day, the job is a business that's gonna continue with or without you. So if you need a day, take that day. But yeah, check the man later. This was a good talk.
Follow my YouTube channel, Millennial Yours, down in the...
Why you always
I can't even take myself serious. But yeah, it'll be down in the caption and it'll probably show up, right? Hey.
I don't know where it's gonna show up. It's gonna show up someplace. If I put it in here or something. Whatever. You just start a YouTube channel, go subscribe to it, you know.
Big things coming. Sorry.